In this lesson, we'll show you how to use the core strategy decision matrix. You can see here in the 6-step process flowchart, all paths lead to the decision matrix. You can see it there in the middle of the screenshot on the left-hand side. After going through steps 1 through 3 of the 6-step process, the technical steps of multiple time frame analysis have been completed at that point. Now we move on to analyze the curve, the trend, and the zones together to decide whether the big picture of the trade setup is a high probability or not. In order to do this, we look at three things. 1, the location of the entry zone within the higher time frame curve. 2, the direction of the intermediate time frame trend. And 3, the lower time frame zone type to determine whether it's a supply zone or a demand zone. Identifying how these components come together will suggest if and how the trade opportunity should be approached. Looking at the decision matrix, on the left is the curve location. We have high, middle, and low. On the top is the trend direction, down, sideways, or up. Within the table are all possible crossover combinations. To read the table, we first line up which zone we're trading, either a supply zone or a demand zone. Afterward, we are then directed to one side of the table. Then we look at the trend direction. Are we in an uptrend, a downtrend, or a sideways trend? This will now place you in a specific column. From there, you line up in whichever curve section the lower time frame entry zone sits in. Is it high on the curve, in the middle of the curve, or low on the curve? The intersection of the column and the row that we land in will provide us with a possible action. It will tell us to go long, whether to go short, or whether we take no action at all. Notice on the left side for supply, the only action, if any, is short. And on the right side for demand zones, the only action, if any, is long. We don't go long on supply or short on demand. The decision matrix is simply letting us know whether or not to take action at the zone, given the big picture curve entrance within the context of the trade. Notice the XLT labels on 4 of the boxes. This means the zone is not automatically deemed no action, but rather it represents scenarios a bit trickier in nature and necessitates certain conditions to make the trade worthwhile, which we'll go into shortly. On the outer right and left edges of the decision matrix, notice we have the setups going with the trend. Selling short at supply in a downtrend and buying long at demand in an uptrend. What do you notice about the action when going with the trend? It shows us that regardless of the curve location, probability is high when going with the trend, since trends tend to continue. As we reach the opposing curve end zone, we're reaching the area where the trend might end, and therefore profits might be limited because there's not much room left on the playing field based on our analysis, even though we still have a confirmed trend. To make up for the limited profit potential from the curve range itself, if the opportunity offers at least 5-to-1 profit zone on a low time frame, then the trade would have significant enough rewards to risk potential to be worth taking the trade. Looking at the counter trend scenario, the columns in the middle for a supply zone in an uptrend and a demand zone in a downtrend, you'll see that this reflects the trend is our friend, and going against the trend direction is not high probability. If we were to consider going against the trend, we would do so where we can anticipate the trend to reverse. Do you recall where that is? It is most likely to occur at the curve extremes. So this means those two innermost columns referring to where we can consider a shorting opportunity in an uptrend or a long opportunity in a downtrend. Those areas are the extremes of the curve range. Not just within the upper and lower sections, but within the higher time frame supply or demand zones themselves, respectively. To learn more about how to handle these more advanced scenarios would require course enrollment through Online Trading Academy's XLT course. We will not cover that material here. Finally, we have the sideways trend, which provides plenty of opportunity and probability as long as the zone is not in the opposing curve section. Similarly, when the zone is in the middle of the curve, we defer to the trend. So long as the zone is not counter to the trend, the probability there is worthwhile. Let's assume we've built out a trade where we've set the curve, identified an uptrend, and found a demand zone on the lower time frame going with the uptrend, and the zone was found low on the curve. Use the decision matrix there in the left-hand side of the screen and identify the action we would take in that scenario. You can see from the example and the yellow arrows illustrated on the screenshot that we would go long in that situation. We are on the demand side of the decision matrix in an uptrend and low on the curve. Per the decision matrix, the action we take in that situation is to go long. The decision matrix tells us probability is high when considering these factors. Now you know how to analyze curve, trend, and zones using the decision matrix to help you determine the highest probability, lowest risk, and highest reward trading opportunities. The decision matrix is not deciding the trade for you. Rather, it indicates which combinations of trend and curve are higher probability and lower probability. The next step is to score the trade using the odds enhancers. Before you move on, analyze the combination of curve, location, trend direction, and zone type, whether it's demand or supply, to help you determine how your trade on your chart should be taken. Should you go long, short, or take no action at all? Hope to see you in the next video.